Today we start with the concept of unit root in seasonal time series. In the last class, we have discussed in detail different stochastic process a time series can follow. And autoregressive process, moving average process, autoregressive moving average process, autoregressive moving average, integrated process, etc. And also we have focused solely on the seasonal parts, only seasonal components of the time series. And as I remember, we stopped by looking at the AR1 process in seasonal frequency S, and we observed that the absolute value of phi1s, if the absolute value of phi1s less than 1, then the seasonal autoregressive process of order 1 will be stationary, because in that case the homogeneous component will tend towards 0 and the challenge solution, the last part, sum of phi 1 s to the power j into epsilon t minus j into s, like this. This series will be converging only if the value of phi 1 less than 1. Okay. And also we have shown just by putting the value of phi 1 is equal to 1, we have the case what is known as the random walk process. So seasonal random walk, if the variable follows AR1, looks like this. Now, in continuation to the last class's discussion, let us start today for unit root, concept of unit root, how we can get the unit root series. So this is our main concern for today's class. Now let me try to share the slide. Yes, I have got it. Is it visible now?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now I am trying to zoom it a little bit. Okay. So again, let me start with the autoregressive process of order 1 with seasonal frequency S. And it is specified in this way: yts is equal to phi 1s yt minus 1s plus epsilon ts. And the method of induction we have used in the last class. Ultimately, we will get the general solution of yts in this form. Yts is equal to phi 1 s to the power t y naught plus sum of phi 1 s to the power j epsilon t minus s. Sorry, it will be t minus probably it will be different.
So T minus J into S.
T minus J into S. Yes. We have identified the problem yesterday. So it would be T minus J into S. It's like this. Now in this expression, if phi 1s is less than 1 in absolute terms, the homogeneous part, this component will tend towards 0, and this expression will be converging when phi 1 is less than 1. And in that case, YTS will be stationary. Okay. Now if we put the value of phi 1s is equal to 1 in this expression and introduce the lag operator, then we can express the AR1 series in seasonal frequency S in this form. And to understand the implication of this series, we have started with the seasonal frequency 4, that is for the quarterly data. If we set S is equal to 4 here, you will get this expression, 1 minus L to the power 4 into YT4 is equal to epsilon T4. This is the equation, and from here we have the inverse characteristic equation in this way. If we set this part equal to 0, then you will get what is called the inverse characteristic equation. So for quarterly data, the inverse characteristic equation looks like this: 1 minus L to the power 4 is equal to 0. And if you set 1 by L is equal to Z, you will get the characteristic equation in this form: Z to the power 4 minus 1 equal to 0. So what is Z? Z is equal to 1 by L. Now at this moment, try to compare the expression with AR1 in annual time series. For annual time series, the characteristic equation for AR1 was simply Z minus 1 equal to 0. And in that case, we have a solution: Z is equal to 1. The value of Z is the value of the characteristic root. So in that case, you have got only one characteristic root. And if the value of the characteristic root is equal to 1, then we can call the annual series contains unit root in the case of AR1. But in the case of AR1, if you have a quarterly data, you have more than one unit roots, even if the series is AR1. We have discussed earlier in our beginning class in time series that AR1 series contains maximum one unit root. This statement will be valid only for the annual time series data. So if your data has no seasonal frequency, in that case, AR1 will contain maximum one unit root. But in the case of a seasonal time series, you will get more than one unit root, even in the case of AR1. In this case, as we have taken here the quarterly data, the characteristic equation Z to the power 4 is equal to 1. It is AR1, but we have the characteristic equation like this. It is not a linear equation. So if you solve it, you will get the 4 value of Z. Okay, we have discussed in the last class the 4 value of Z like this: Z minus 1, Z plus 1 into 1 plus Z square equal to 0, or ultimately you have 4 characteristic roots in this way. Value of Z1 is equal to 1, Z2 is equal to minus 1, Z3 is equal to plus I, Z4 is equal to minus I. So you have got 4 characteristic roots, even in the case of AR1. If
Sir, a joining request আছে.
If you have quarterly data. Similarly, if you have a monthly time series, so the expression becomes Z to the power 12 minus 1 equal to 0. So in that case, you will get 12 values of Z. So 12 characteristic roots in that case. So what I am trying to say here, in the case of a seasonal time series, you will get more than one unit root, even if the series follows AR1. So this is the uh, difference between annual time series and seasonal time series. If you have annual time series, you have only one possibility, value of the characteristic root equal to 1, and you can draw some inference on the basis of this result. But in the case of a quarterly time series, you have 4 unit roots, 4 values of z, and all values are not equal, not necessarily equal to 1. You will get different values of z. Okay, and in that case, the interpretation will also be different. As in the case of a quarterly data, you have number of characteristic roots is equal to 4. So 4 values of z you will get. In the case of a monthly data, 12 values of z you will get. In the case of a daily data, 7 values of z you will get. And in the case of a weekly data, you will get 52 values of z. So in this way, you have more number of characteristic roots even in your series follows AR1. Okay, so we have to keep in mind this basic difference between the annual time series and seasonal time series as far as the nature of the characteristic equation is concerned. Okay, so in the case of a quarterly series, if you have seasonal frequency 4, you can solve for characteristic roots just by factorizing this polynomial in this way. 4 values of z you will get. But if you have seasonal frequency more than 4, for example, if you have monthly data, so in that case, equation becomes z to the power 12 minus 1 equal to 0. So you cannot solve for characteristic roots simply by factorizing the characteristic equation in this way. So for that reason, we have to follow the alternative way how we can solve this kind of equations. So this is the direct solution by applying the simple algebra method of factorization. We can solve for the values of the characteristic equations. But if we have higher order equation, more than 4, in that case, it would be difficult to find out the characteristic roots by factorizing the polynomial like this. So in that case, what we can do, we can follow the another route. We can solve the characteristic equation in another way. If you are familiar with the numerical analysis, in numerical analysis, there are different ways in solving polynomial function, and one possible way to use the trigonometric function. By using trigonometric function, we can generalize the solution method for any order of seasonality. In that case, by following this method, we can get the values for quarterly series, we can get the values for monthly series, values for weekly series, etc. Easily, or by following the same norms. But the direct method of solution by using factor, we cannot calculate the values of characteristic roots for higher frequency data. So let me try to understand the method we want to use for solving the characteristic equation. So suppose for seasonal frequency S, the inverse characteristic equation again 1 minus L to the power S equal to 0, and the corresponding characteristic equation Z to the power S minus 1 equal to 0. So if we solve it, this equation contains S number of roots, S number of characteristic roots. Okay. And if the characteristic roots lie on the unit circle, in that case, we can say the presence of unit root, by using our earlier concepts. But what is important here, how to solve this equation? We solve this equation by following a trick taken from the numerical analysis. Z denotes the characteristic roots, jth characteristic roots. So how many characteristic roots you will get here? S number of characteristic roots for seasonal frequency S. If you have s is equal to 4, you will get 4 characteristic roots as we have got earlier. If you have s equal to 12, we have 12 characteristic roots, and we express the value of the characteristic roots in this way: zj is equal to e to the power twice pi I by s into j. Okay, this is the value for the characteristic root. Jth characteristic root is equal to, we express first in exponential form, e to the power twice pi I by s into j. S denotes the seasonal frequency, I the complex number. You know, you are familiar with pi. So you can express this exponential form in this trigonometric function. This equal to cos of twice pi j by s plus I into sine of twice pi j by s. So the solution of the characteristic equation z to the power s minus 1 equal to 0 looks like this. Zj is equal to, ultimately we have to keep in mind, Zj is equal to cos of twice pi j by s plus I into sine of twice pi j by s. Here j varies from 0, 1, 2 up to s minus 1. Okay. So how many roots you will get from this equation? S number of roots. So if you set value of j equal to 0, j equal to 1, j equal to 2, in this way, maximum value of j will be s minus 1. So actually, the j varies from 0 to s minus 1, that is, zj will be s number of z we will get. Now in this expression, each root zj is related to the specific frequency. So the expression within bracket we are using here is called the frequency, theta j, that is cos theta j plus I sin theta j, where the value of theta j is equal to twice pi j by s in our case. Okay. Now here the j, the suffix j used here is the number of cycles involved in zj. You have to keep in mind. J denotes the number of cycles involved in the root zj, and corresponding to each value of z, you have a corresponding value of theta j. This theta j will be called the frequency. Okay, so the frequency is actually equal to twice pi j by s, where j denotes the number of cycles involved in zj. Now the concepts will be clear if we take a specific example by setting specific value of s. For quarterly data we can set s is equal to 4. For monthly data we can set s is equal to 12. In that case the concept will be clear more. Now for time being, try to remember the z used here. Z is the characteristic root, and you will get s number of characteristic roots if the characteristic equation looks like this, and each root correspond to each cycle, cycle 1, cycle 0, cycle. So as j varies from 0 to s minus 1, so for j is equal to 0 means the number of cycle involved in the root is 0. So how do we get the concept of a cycle? The concept of a cycle related to the concept of unit root. Unit root is the value of the characteristic root on the unit circle. So if you draw hypothetically a circle with radius equal to 1, and if the value of the if the value lies exactly on the circle, then the root will be called the unit root. So the concept of unit root means the values will be on the unit circle. Unit circle means you have to draw an imaginary cycle, hypothetical cycle with radius equal to 1. So in that case, the value of the root will be 1. So the concept of unit root related actually to the trigonometric function in this way. Okay. So for j equal to 0, in this case, 0 cycles involved in J, J equal to 1 cycle involved in Z, J equal to 2 cycles involved in Z, etc. So ultimately you will get maximum cycles in your root will be S minus 1. So if you say you have Z S minus 1 means the characteristic roots contains S minus 1 number of cycles, and corresponding to each cycle you will get a corresponding value of theta. Theta 0, theta 1, theta 2 up to theta S minus 1. If you set the value of J equal to 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. in this expression, you will get the value of theta. And according to the value of theta, you will get the value of cos theta plus I sin theta. And you can determine ultimately the value of Z. So in this way, we can calculate the characteristic roots by using the trigonometric function in this manner. Now you have to keep in mind for J equal to 0, if you set here J equal to 0, that is the root corresponding to 0 frequency, 0 cycle. Okay, if you set J equal to 0, that is we are considering 0 cycles in the root. At J equal to 0, what will be the frequency? What will be the value of theta J? Theta J will be 0 here. If you set J equal to 0, twice pi J by S will be equal to 0. That is theta J equal to 0. So if theta equal to 0, what will be the value for Z? So at J equal to 0, the value of the root Z0 equal to cos 0 plus I sin 0. Because at J equal to 0, theta J equal to 0 by this expression. So cos 0 plus I sin 0, what will be the value of cos 0? Just try to remember the definition of cos theta. How do you define cos theta? Cos theta is equal to what? Base by hypotenuse. Sin theta, perpendicular by hypotenuse. Okay. So if theta equal to 0, just try to remember the basic figure, what is theta. So if theta equal to 0, hypotenuse is equal to base. So its value will be equal to 1. That is at theta is equal to 0, you know from basic trigonometric analysis, cos 0 equal to 1 and sin 0 equal to 0. The value of cos 0 is equal to 1 and the value of sin 0 is equal to 0. Why sin 0 equal to 0? How do we define sin theta? Perpendicular by hypotenuse. So if theta equal to 0, in that case, hypotenuse coincides with the base. That means the length of the perpendicular will be 0. So if length of the perpendicular will be 0, the value of the sin theta will be 0. So the value of sin theta at theta equal to 0 is equal to 0. We have got earlier. And the value of cos theta equal to 1 if theta equal to 0. In other words, if J is equal to 0, if we set J is equal to 0 here, that is if we consider 0 cycles, in 0 cycles we have a 0 frequency. So at 0 frequency, the value of the characteristic root is equal to 1. Okay. So for J is equal to 0 or at 0 frequency, the root Zj, the value of Zj will always be equal to 1 in this case. And this is called the non-seasonal unit root. Why non-seasonal unit root? How do you get the value of Zj equal to 1? By setting J equal to 0. Or by setting theta J equal to 0. 0 frequency, 0 cycle. So there is no cyclical variation within a year. So if there is no cyclical variation within a year, there is no question of seasonality at J equal to 0. Have you got my point? So if we set J equal to 0 or theta J equal to 0, we have a case of the root with 0 cycle or 0 frequency. So 0 frequency characteristic root implies the value of the characteristic roots for non-seasonal cases without considering the seasonal variation. Now here, try to remember, we are considering the seasonal part only in expressing the autoregressive form. Just look at this. We have ignored the part phi 1 yt minus 1 as we have considered in our earlier discussion. So we have started with seasonal autoregressive part by considering the seasonal part only. So even if we consider the seasonal part only, when we are trying to find out the unit root, we have different possibilities. One possibility appears by setting j equal to 0 for any frequency. We have not fixed till now the specific value of s. For any value of s, if we set j is equal to 0, the value of z will be equal to 1. So the value of z at j equal to 0 or number of cycle equal to 0. What do we mean by number of cycle? That is the cyclical variation within a year. So if there is no cyclical variation within a year, we are not considering the seasonal variation within a year. So this is the non-seasonal case. That is the zero frequency root or the zero cyclical root considers the long run movement of the series you have. Although we are considering the autoregressive component by considering only the seasonal component, but if we try to understand your data starts with a particular point, seasonal point, moves over the season, over the years. So the unit root at zero frequency or the characteristic root at zero frequency, will always be equal to 1 in our case. Why zj equal to 1 at j equal to 0? Because we assume here phi 1 equal to 1. So you will get the characteristic equation under the assumption that phi 1 is equal to 1. So the coefficient of AR1 is equal to 1. This is our underlying assumptions behind the characteristic equations we are considering here. And you know the value of phi 1 is the coefficient for AR1 component. So if the coefficient for AR1 component is equal to 1, the series will contain unit root at least in the long period sense. Okay, for that reason, value of zj at j equal to 0 will always be equal to 1, because in that case you will get the value of the roots that will be similar to the value of the root in the case of annual time series. So j is equal to 0 means you are ignoring seasonal variations. So it will be equivalent to the annual time series like this. For that reason, zj equal to always 1 when j equal to 0, because at j equal to 0, theta j equal to 0, at theta j equal to 0, this value will be equal to 1, because cos 0 is equal to 1, sin 0 equal to 0. Clear up to this point? Now you have to remember, for seasonal time series, you will get more characteristic roots even in the case of AR1. Among the more roots, one specific root you will get at j equal to 0. So out of S characteristic roots, we are focusing specially on the roots at j equal to 0, because it provides a special implication in analyzing the seasonal time series. For that reason, we are focusing more on the value of z at j equal to 0. So the rest of the unit roots, that is for seasonal frequency S, you will get one root at j equal to 0. So the remaining roots are s minus 1. So the remaining s minus 1 roots will deal with the seasonal character of the series. So for j equal to 0 or at 0 frequency, the root zj is called the non-seasonal unit root, and the other roots will be called the seasonal unit roots. Okay, so out of s number of roots you have conceptually for a characteristic equations like z to the power s minus 1 equal to 0, out of s roots, the root at 0 frequency is called non-seasonal, and the roots for the other frequencies are called the seasonal roots. So at this moment, you have to clear the concept of frequency, concept of cycle. Okay, so concept of frequency relates to the angle theta. Concept of cycle relates to the suffix j we are using here. And you will get different value of theta, different frequency corresponding to different cycles, that is the different value of j. Value of j is equal to 0, you will get theta equal to 0. Value of j is equal to 1. What will be the value of theta? Just twice pi by s. Substitute j equal to 1. So theta will be twice pi by s. So in this way, we can calculate different frequencies corresponding to different cycles involved in the characteristic roots. Okay. Now, to clear the concepts more, let we consider quarterly data. So in the case of a quarterly data, value of s is equal to 4. So what will be the nature or what will be the characters of the roots zj in the case of a quarterly data? So we can start with here. We can start with this expression, and in this expression, put the value of s is equal to 4 first. You should work out independently the steps I am mentioning here. So start with this expression. Zj is equal to e to the power twice pi I by s into j is equal to cos of twice pi j by s plus I sine of twice pi j by s. This is the general expression for the characteristic roots. Now substitute here s is equal to 4. After substituting s is equal to 4, you will get this result. Zj is equal to e to the power pi I by 2j is equal to cos of pi j by 2 plus I sine pi j by 2. And what will be the value of j here for quarterly data? J is equal to 0, 1, 2, 3. So if you have a quarterly data, how many cycles you can expect in the behavior of your data? One possibility is 0 cycle. There is no variation across the quarters within a year. Another possibility 1 cycle. Another possibility 2 cycles. Another possibility 3 cycles. So you have maximum 3 cycles if you have a quarterly data. Similarly, we explain later on for monthly data, s is equal to 12. So in that case, the value of j is equal to 0 to 11. So the maximum 11 number of cycles you will get in the case of a monthly data. So now let me concentrate on quarterly data. For quarterly data, the value of the characteristic roots zj is equal to this. Now set one by one value of j equal to 0 first. Put value of j equal to 0. So what will be the root? Z0 is equal to, what will be the value of it? Equal to 1. Clear? Now at j is equal to 1, put the value of j is equal to 1. So you will get Z1. Z1 is equal to, what will be the value? E to the power pi I by 2 is equal to cos of pi by 2 plus I sine of pi by 2. Okay. At j equal to 2, at j equal to 2. Now, before moving into the case of j equal to 2, try to understand the value of z is equal to 1. What would be the value of z1 here? This is actually 90 degree, pi by 2. What is the value of cos 90? Value of cos 90 is 0. What is the value of sine 90? Value of sin 90 equal to 1. Okay. Do you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So at j equal to 1, cos 90 is 0, sin 90 is 1. So what will be the value of z1? It will be is equal to plus I. Okay, this part becomes 0, this part becomes I. So value of z